So by now, most of you have seen this affidavit from Lorenzo Perez, who is an FBI special agent who is stationed in San Juan and focuses on violent crimes, major offender squad, right? You see that right there in the intro. He introduces himself. He introduces Félix Verdejo Sánchez, and then sets up the timeline of events. Okay, and again, I won't go over everything, but I do want to hit on a couple of things and make note of a couple of things that stand out to me. Before I go into this in further detail, though, I do want to once again preface by saying that right now, Félix Verdejo is in custody, no bail. Okay. There are a lot of rumors flying and swirling all over about this case, most of which have not been substantiated. And I do not want to engage in rumors. I don't want to engage in clickbait. I don't want to sensationalize anything. I want to stick to exactly what we do know. I have been talking to a few people in Puerto Rican media today and trying to get updates. The most I could get was the latest rumors, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard as well. If anything changes while we're going live here, we might even have folks call into the show to give some updates. Okay. So there are a few people standing by. If there are updates, if there's any breaking news, they'll call in. All right. So I want to let you guys know that. But out of respect for the family of this woman who has lost her life, I can't imagine what this family is going through, but also out of the respect to the Verdejo family, because forget about Felix. I'm talking about his entire family. It's a tragedy for them as well. And all the people of Puerto Rico and really everyone in the boxing community. This is more than a boxing story. This is a human story. Okay. So let's be respectful in the comments section. And let's remember that this is an open, ongoing case. There's going to be breaking news. There's going to be more information to come. And let's not jump the gun. All right. So let's see what this FBI affidavit says. And I should also, one last thing. I was in the Marine Corps. Okay. I've seen a million documents like this. I understand the wording of it. I understand the way they're typed up, and there's a certain purpose to why they do these and how they do it. Doesn't correlate exactly. This is an FBI affidavit, but me being in the military, I've seen a lot of documentation like this. I've read it a million times. I've signed a bunch of these things. I've participated in formulating and typing up some of these things. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. And that's why I preface, because there's a few things in this that I noticed. Okay. That stood out to me. So this talks about a witness that came forward. Does not name the witness, obviously, but talks about a witness that alleges they were with Félix Verdejo last week. This all pretty much transpired last week into this weekend. And there's some things that are left out. So A, okay, I'm looking at section A here. On or about April 27th, Félix Verdejo contacted the witness and requested his help to terminate the pregnancy of the victim. So the victim claimed that she was pregnant by Félix Verdejo, and apparently she had told family and friends this, had not talked about it publicly, but of course had told Félix Verdejo, but also her family and friends. They were aware of this. But notice in A, section A, it says requested his help. So we know that this is a male. There are rumors out there that this witness is the wife. Well, if it is the wife, then there is an error right here in this document. But it clearly states right here, requested his help. Says that Félix Verdejo contacted this witness, requested his help. So to me, that rules out that the wife is this witness. So there's one rumor you guys can check off the list. So who had told Verdejo that she was pregnant with his child based on a pregnancy test. Now, also what I get from section A here, it does not say that this person alleges that Félix Verdejo contacted him for a murder for hire scheme or something like that. It doesn't specify murder or assault or anything like that. It specifies requested his help to terminate the pregnancy. So that leaves a lot of questions out there. But I can tell you guys again, with my military background, I've seen documentation like this, and they pretty much write it so a 10-year-old could read it. And they go deep, very, very detailed. They, what in the Marine Corps, we called it marine proofing it, meaning it was written so dumb that there's nothing left to interpretation, okay? The fact that it doesn't specify that this person was contacted by Félix Verdejo, again, they're alleging this, to murder this woman, or this wasn't a murder for hire scheme. They were contacted to help terminate a pregnancy. Very specific with that, but also leaves out those details. That stood out to me. B says, on April 29th, Verdejo contacted the victim and arranged to meet her near her residence. Verdejo and the witness drove to meet Verdejo in Verdejo's black Dodge Durango SUV. The victim arrived at the meeting place in her vehicle, a gray Kia Forte. She entered Verdejo's vehicle. Okay, so she must have drove up to her house, gets out of her vehicle into his vehicle. What we don't know is, was she forced to? Was she coerced into doing it? How did that take place? We don't have those details. Okay, it goes on to say, following a conversation between Verdejo and the victim in Verdejo's car, Verdejo supposedly punched her in the face. And then it says she was injected with a syringe filled with substances purchased from a drug point. So it doesn't specify what the substances are. We don't know. Was this substance supposed to render her unconscious, subdue her, kill her? Or is it something that was supposed to terminate the pregnancy? We don't know. Okay. And again, why am I bringing up all these details? Why am I specifying all this? Because it matters when you go to try a case. When you go to, and I'm not an expert in legal matters, but I'm pretty well versed on this stuff. I have family in law enforcement, friends in law enforcement. When you talk about first degree, second degree, third degree murder, details like this play a huge role. Okay. So all of these things are going to play a role, and we should get those details in the coming weeks and months. But again, it doesn't specify, number one, who injected her with the substance. It doesn't specify what the substance was supposed to do or what the substance was. It also says Verdejo and the witness, it does specify both of them restrained the victim's arms and feet with wire. I think they mean arms and legs because you can't restrain feet. So I'm thinking she was bound at her wrists and her ankles. And then a block was tied to the victim. Doesn't say who did that. The witness then alleges that they took the victim's keys and got in her car, and then they they left the site. So Verdejo drove off, the witness followed in the victim's car. Again, I go back to Section D, though, where there are some details there, but there's also some details left out. Apparently, both restrained the woman, but we don't know who injected her with the substance. We don't know what the substance was supposed to do. All of these things do play a role, guys, in how this will be adjudicated and how it will be investigated going forward. Verdejo and the witness drove the two vehicles toward this bridge, which spans this lagoon. And Verdejo and the witness then drove onto the bridge, where the victim was removed from the car and tossed off the side of the bridge into the water. It does not specify who threw her into the water, right? We don't know. We don't know, was she unconscious at this point? Was she already deceased? We don't know. Verdejo, according to this witness, then shot at the victim with a pistol from the bridge. It says shot at. It doesn't say shot the victim. But you would think shooting at somebody, that is attempted murder. So right there, you got attempted murder on this, if this is the true events that took place. And it says the victim's car was later abandoned. It doesn't say who did that, but we can assume, and this is total conjecture, assuming by me, that the witness did that since they had the keys to the car. Okay, so that was all on April 27th, which was, what day was that? Shit, I don't know, guys. I'm not sure. Anyway, it was last week. 3 days later, April 30th, 2021, Puerto Rican officers found the victim's vehicle. And then the victim's family members revealed that the victim used cellular phone number to give the number. On October 30th, the FBI obtained call detail records, and they were apparently able to use police cell phone data to corroborate the story in regards to the locations where not only where she was at, but this witness and Verdejo. Remember, guys, if you have a cell phone, they know where the hell you're at. Unless you leave that phone at home, when you take that cell phone with you and you leave your house, the government, anyone can find out where you've been, what you've been up to, essentially. Okay. And they were able to use the data to validate the area, the locations of all of these parties. There were also phone records as far as calls between the parties and text messages between the parties. So all the phone data corroborated the series of events that were provided by this witness. And that was enough for this officer, Mr. Perez, to state in this affidavit that he feels very, very strongly that Félix Verdejo is the lead suspect, and they were able to charge him from this. They also used some surveillance footage and found a shell casing from the gun near that bridge that they took the woman to. And again, as I mentioned before, the victim had told her family that she was pregnant. So this was all probable cause to arrest Félix Verdejo. Let's see. Anything else on here? Now, here's just where he signed everything. So I'll stop sharing my screen here. So Verdejo has turned himself in. He is charged with kidnapping resulting in death, carjacking resulting in death, and killing of an unborn child. Those are the charges. I know that he is not eligible for bail. Bail has been stricken. So, and that's a case of note, because Jacob Rodriguez, who I talked to earlier, who writes for New York Fights, he mentioned to me that in several similar incidents recently in Puerto Rico, bail was granted to the accused, and in this case, bail was not granted. So that's kind of big news. That means that the authorities involved feel that they have a pretty strong case here. They don't want to set bail for Félix Verdejo. We got a couple calls here on the line. I imagine a couple of you want to talk about this. In fact, I think Jacob is on the line. So I want to jump over here to the phone lines and see if Jacob Rodriguez with New York Fights has any updates on the case. He's been following it since last week pretty closely. So let me jump here to the phones, guys. Jacob, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. How are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Got up for work and listening to your show here.
Yeah, sorry, my phones were down, man. We were having crazy thunderstorms today. I'm in Atlanta, and we're having just crazy storms, so my phone actually dropped. But got you on the line now. Wanted to see, man, do you have? I know you've been listening. Based on everything that I read, I read the affidavit and everything, and gave some thoughts. Do you have any other, breaking information to add to this?
No breaking information. The only thing that was released by Primera Hora is that the Perez is going to have a cause of death determined in the next 48 hours. So in the next 48 hours, they're going to tell us exactly how Keishla died. But other than that, there have been no other witnesses brought forward. Nobody else has been charged. Nothing major in the case. The two pieces of critical information that were released today is, number one, they denied bail to Félix Verdejo. And number two, just about 30 minutes ago, Primera Hora released that in 48 hours they'll have a definitive cause of death.
So they'll be able to determine if it was the substance she was injected with, or when she was thrown off the bridge, or something like that. Any of those things.
Hopefully. Okay. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully they'll be able to determine exactly what killed Keishla and how she died.
And can we get rid of the rumor that that the wife is involved, or is she still a person of interest? Because I know that Félix Verdejo's wife was questioned by police.
I mean, I think by now they probably would have eradicated charges on her. So yeah. I can't say definitively if we should eliminate her, but I would think that by now she probably would have been identified as a suspect. But still, this case is still is in its infancy. I mean, we didn't get word. I mean, I got word of it early Friday morning, about 8:15. Is when I got word through Puerto Rican social media. Immediately, I moved some of my friends to get me as much information as they could from the island, and they did, and that's where I wrote up my first story and turned it in. But we can't tell right now if it's safe to eliminate her yet.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, looking at that affidavit, it uses the word his to describe the witness. So to me, that rules out that she's the witness. But I've seen tweets, I've seen YouTube videos, I've even seen posts on certain websites trying to insinuate that she was involved, that she might be the witness, that this plot was her idea. Like if there was any evidence to suggest that, I would just think that she'd have to be in custody by now, right?
Yeah, a key note here is the mom, Keishla's mom, Keishla Ortiz. When she went on social media and was on the different news outlets, Primera Hora, Montero, and La Comay, these are all news outlets that were recording and interviewed her. What was critical here, we listened to the interviews, she was definitive from day one, without a shadow of a doubt, that she was fingering Verdejo. When they asked if Verdejo's wife had anything to do with this, what's so interesting in this is that she compared Verdejo's wife's character and personality to that of her daughter, a hardworking person, a person of good moral standing, and it was Verdejo who was playing them both, is what she said on social media. So, well, not to social media, to the various news outlets that would interview her.
Okay.
So, from day one, there was no shadow of a doubt in the mother's mind that it was Verdejo. If she would have had any inkling that it was Verdejo's wife, I'm pretty sure she would have been adamant about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. It just seems that by now we know more if she was involved. So I think all those tweets and everything involving her in the case, I think that it's incredibly irresponsible. I wanted to ask you, I believe I know the answer, but Puerto Rico does have the death penalty, correct? And Verdejo would be, he would warrant the death penalty if these charges are found, if he's found guilty, correct?
That's a very good question. No, Puerto Rico does not have the death penalty. They did away with the death penalty a while back. But because this is now a federal case, the death penalty is on the table. So yeah, that's how, because this case has been moved up to the federal level, that's how he's faced the death penalty. That's why it has been attached to the different news outlets.
Thank you for making that distinction. Thank you, because I saw conflicting information going back and forth, and I honestly didn't know. I thought because Puerto Rico is an American territory that I knew that this was a federal case because the FBI is involved in everything, but it didn't dawn on me that that's how this could be eligible for the death penalty. So that's confirmed that the death penalty would be on the line here.
Yes.
Okay.
From what I've read, yes, the death penalty is on the line. Okay.
And so in the next 48 hours, we are going to get autopsy cause of death results. What about with Verdejo? Is there an arraignment scheduled or a hearing, anything like that this week?
No, so it's not this week. So this is what's so unique about this. So when they went to the hearing for the bail was denied, and they were not able to give a plea at the moment. So entrance of plea was denied, and they've given both teams, the prosecutor team and the defense team, 30 days to get their case together.
So 30 days, and then what? So is it going to take 30 days to get a plea and to get everything scheduled for a trial?
Correct.
Okay. So it's probably going to be months before we have an actual trial here, correct?
Oh, it's good. Well, let me paint a perspective here. So this is stemming on the island. There's been numerous cases where women have been murdered,
right?
And the predecessing to the lead up has been domestic violence. In one such case, this did not have to do with domestic violence, but in one such case, a girl was murdered in the Jensen Medina case. She was murdered in cold blood in 2019, and that case is still going on right now. So it could be months. I'm pretty sure they'll move faster because of Verdejo's public figure status. So I'm pretty sure this will move faster, and the fact that there's been an outcry for justice because of so many cases like this have been happening on the island. So I'm pretty sure they'll move faster, but it could be a few months before this even goes to trial.
Was there, to your knowledge, was there any case of domestic violence related to Felix Verdejo and his wife or any
No,
past
so
girlfriend?
I'm glad you. No, I'm glad you asked that question because I've been following Verdejo as a boxing fan for a while now, from his early beginnings. And after his Nakatani loss, he went silent for a while, and he came on an interview in a Puerto Rican YouTube channel called One on One Uno Uno with the playmaker Hector Torres, and in there he's talking about his discipline and how his 3-year-old daughter has changed his life and his whole perspective has changed since he's been married. And aside from the motorcycle incident that he had in 2017, there was no criminal charges there. He just, it made news because a big profile boxer got hurt riding a motorcycle. He's kept a pretty low profile from what we know and no involvement with the law. This is the first such case regarding Verdejo.
And there's rumors that his wife has filed for divorce. Is that true or false?
So the rumors were that they have been separated for some time now.
Okay.
And I won't. Sorry, that's my grandson in the background. I can only assume that the separation was directly tied to his relationship with Keishla.
Okay. But nothing's been confirmed about her filing for divorce or that they're divorced or anything like that?
No, nothing has been confirmed. Just
okay.
separation.
Because I've seen a bunch of tweets about that. And we have a question from Mandeli here on the chat. He was asking, is it possible that the trial could take place in the United States because of the overwhelming media presence there in Puerto Rico and because it's a federal case? Is it possible it could come up to the USA somewhere, the mainland, or will it in fact happen down there?
I'm not sure. That's a very good question. We'll see how it develops. Being how it's a federal case, we certainly can't rule it out in being moved, especially if there's an overwhelming caseload in Puerto Rico. That could be highly likely in order to expedite this. They could move it. They could possibly move it. But we don't know for sure.
It would fall under the jurisdiction. I mean, they could put it in the mainland United States. And if the FBI is involved, I mean, that's very, very possible because, as you said, the backlog. There are a lot of these cases in Puerto Rico. Is that something that has been increasing in recent years, or has that been the case for a while?
No, I mean, we just started to hear about some of these cases mostly recently. So I can't put a quantitative mark on the domestic violence to death ratio, over the last years. But I know that as a matter of fact, that's why the pink alert, you keep hearing about this pink alert that was adapted to Puerto Rico. The reason why the pink alert was adapted to Puerto Rico, this is different from any other alerts because this is for females that are 18 and over. So there has been, some numerous cases where girls have gone missing, some that, it eventually, unfortunately, were led to their deaths, and there was really no major or no, how should I say, response system on that somebody was missing. So when you hear about this pink alert system, that alert system was put in place as a response to those number of missing females that were happening on the island.
Okay. Could you give some insight into just how big of a figure is Felix Verdejo down there? Is this a major, major story, or is it just a big story that you think is going to move along in a week, or is this a huge deal down there?
No, this is a huge deal. Verdejo is a very recognized, figure in Puerto Rico as an athlete. Of course, he represented us in the 2012 Olympics.
Right.
Aside from, his boxing background, and us as Puerto Rican fans, we romanticize our fighters, and so he is a big public figure in Puerto Rico. He's very well followed, and because of his name and of course the outcry for justice, everybody in Puerto Rico is tuned in on this.
So this is a huge story. This is up there with like Aster Pistorius in in South Africa a few years back, where everyone's talking about this, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is the story happening in Puerto Rico right now.
Okay. Well, Jacob, I appreciate you calling in, man. Let's keep in touch, and as updates, come, we'll keep in touch. We'll chat, and maybe we'll get you back on the show next week if there's anything else to talk about. I absolutely appreciate you being on, man.
Oh no, thank you for taking my call, and I'll keep you posted on any of the updates that come along, and anything that pops up. I would love to be on your show next week.
Thanks a lot, brother. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay.
You too. Bye-bye.